We are going to be turning our clay into a container today. So it will have a top and a bottom, and you will be able to put things inside of it. When you get your clay, the first thing you're going to do is you are going to break it into two pieces. And both of those pieces are going to end up to be about the size of a tennis ball. So I've kind of saved a little bit of time, and I have them rounded, which means I was squeezing them in my hand and trying to smooth them out as best as I could. It's okay if there's cracks in them. You are going to be making two pinch pots. So you're going to push a thumb into the clay. So I did not push it through it. It just went in to about where my thumb is bending. Now I am going to take my fingers, all four of them, and I'm going to squeeze to try and squeeze towards my thumb. I'm going to turn, and you can see my thumb is facing up and my fingers are squeezing just like this in the clay. I'm turning and I'm squeezing my thumb and my fingers together. I call this the chicken dance because I am squeezing with all of my finger pads, not just the tip by my nail. Now it's big enough. I can put both thumbs inside and I can turn and pinch. If you notice, you cannot even see my thumbs at this angle. When I turn it, my thumbs are at the very, very bottom of this clay pot. They are not pinching at the top where it's opening. They're pinching down and on the sides. So as I'm pinching and turning right now, I am just feeling for thick spots. I don't want any really chunky parts of this. If it cracks, just kind of smooth it out. You want to have a pretty thick edge at the opening. You want to pinch till about 4 of your knuckles fit in. If you have smaller hands, you might even fit your whole fist in there. So I am doing this 2 times. So to save us some time on the video, I have created 2 pinch pots. They are very, very similar in size. Not perfect, and that's okay. And I definitely don't have these as smooth as they could be. That's okay for right now. I am ready to attach these. This is by far the trickiest attachment we have ever done. I am taking the toothbrush in water. So we just talked about that is our clay glue. It is scoring, that means rubbing a texture, and it is making our clay slippery. That's the slip. I just added that on 1 pinch pot. My second pinch pot is going right on top. Now as I turn this, they're not fitting perfect. You can actually see through that part, but they're pretty close. I am lightly going to push and smear the clay together. So sometimes I'm pushing up, sometimes I'm pushing down. Just kind of depends on where I have extra clay. Right here I see a lot of clay over this edge, so I'm going to smear it down. I am basically trying to erase the line or the seam where they touch. So as I'm doing this, I am taking some chunks off of it. That's okay. Your clay will not be this perfect sphere. It's going to have some bumps, and it's going to have some chunks that aren't perfect. That's okay. That's the cool thing about art. Everyone's is going to look different. At this point, you have lots of choices. If you are somebody who likes things really nice and smooth, I would continue pressing, being so careful, because this is hollow. You don't want to push so hard you cave it in. But I would take some time and smooth out that clay and get it nice. You can leave your clay into whatever form it makes. So this is kind of rolling, and I know I don't want my container to roll. I might decide, you know what, that's kind of flattening right there. I'm going to tap this on the table gently to flatten it out so it stands up nice. If you want to make a container that has flatter sides, like a cube, I am gently, can barely even hear that, tapping this onto the fabric, and I'm forming it into a cube shape. You can see it's definitely changing. I'm getting some flatter edges on it. So you could make it look like a cube or a dice. Definitely taking that form right now. If you want to make it more of a cone shape, like this example, It has a flat bottom. I just kind of started to squeeze it on the top so it got a little more narrow. You get to decide the form. Whatever the form is, I would take some time and get those nice and smooth, those sides. Even a little dab of water, not a lot, will really make that nice and smooth. Take your time on that part. When you have the clay looking nice, you can add designs and textures with the tools on the tray. So I could roll gently a cool texture. Kind of like how that looks. I'm going to continue that over the top. Kind of out of the video right now. And then I'm going to go down the bottom. You can use the marker caps like stampers. You can use the opposite end and get some cool star shapes. If you put something in your clay you don't like, you can just rub it off and erase it. I'm kind of liking that I have this design on the side. I'm going to match it on the other side. And I still have room. I could add textures, I could write, I could draw in it, I could put my initials. Have fun and design your container however you would like. When you feel like it is your best work and you are finished, you need to find Mrs. Cleary. She will probably be at her table, ready for the last step. She will be using this fancy wire tool, and she will create a cut towards the top that is going to have a wavy zigzag edge that you will be able to match up like a puzzle. This has cut the clay and it is hollow inside. When we do this to some of your projects, the clay is going to be pushed in, and I will help you fix it, and I will make sure that that top fits on there and you have an awesome container. At this point, Mrs. Cleary will keep it. She'll get your name written really nicely in the bottom, and it will stay at her table. You will need to return any little clay pieces to her table, put any tools you used back on the tray, and wash your hands before you have free time. When all your clay tools are put away, if you would just lift your fabric up gently and shake it, you will see that you have lots of dust on your table that you can sweep up with one of the brooms by the closet, and you can throw those crumbs in the garbage. That will help us with washing the tables at the end of the day. You will not be washing them during your art class.